Well, hello there YouTube. This is Mr. Gibson Guy. Thank you for stopping by on my channel. Today I'm bringing you a new video, which is an update on a video that I did nearly a year ago. And I came to the conclusion that it was time to update. That was sort of a beginning, and now this is sort of an arrival sort of a thing. Photography is something that a number of different stages of photographic experiences people go through. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but there's a number of different stages as a photographer that you go through. Not just talking about professional photographer, but about people who are enthusiasts of photography and people who make a lifelong experience of being a photographer, taking photographs and what you do with them. Like many people, I started out young when I was in college. I had a roommate who had a Nikon camera, and I met several other people that had cameras going through college, and they, each would show me some things and taught me some basics of how to use it, and I was very interested in 35mm single lens reflex photography back in the early 70s when I was in college. And then the progression goes on. You graduate from college and you get your first job and you have a little bit of discretionary income. One of the first things you want to do is go out and buy a camera, which I did in the end of 1977. I got my first camera, and I was a Minolta photographer for a few years, and then I sold my equipment and got Canon. Lots of other changes, of course, came along. I got married, I bought a house, we had children, and the children changes your whole view of photography around, because before you were going around looking at nature and looking at cars or motorcycles and different stuff and recording it, making photographs of things, but then all of a sudden you have your children there, and then you're chasing those kids around there all the time, snapping pictures, because you have to record every moment of their life. And then the second child, and you don't do it quite as religiously as you did with the first, and I didn't have the third child, but I could see how it kind of trailed off. And honestly, I'd see the same thing go on in my life with my parents, because I was the firstborn. And as I got older, I found out they had 6 million pictures of me, baby pictures of me. They had pictures of me doing everything. And then my younger brother came along, and they got a few pictures of Keith. And then Sammy came along, the baby, and nobody ever saw a picture of him. Well, of course, the only thing he did every time he saw a camera was stick his tongue out about a foot. So that was, no wonder he didn't get any pictures taken. What else do you expect? So, those are some of the photographic cycles that I'm talking about. Same thing as each individual subject, your kids. The first one will just smile at the camera, say cheese all the time. Every time you see a camera, oh, there must be for me. And then the second kid, well, then as they get older, they start getting a little bit wilder, and then all of a sudden one day your kid wakes up and they're like, "No, keep that away from me, Dad, don't take any pictures." Oh, you can't take a picture of them anymore. They won't be in a picture, and it just happens overnight. So eventually what happens is all the camera equipment that you got and you had been using to record every moment of your kids' histories, suddenly you don't use them very much. The kids don't want you to get the camera bag out. They don't want pictures taken of them. They're getting bigger, and they don't believe in this. They got to go and start doing other things. And what happens all your nice Nikon equipment ends up going into the nice padded gig bag and going up on the top of the closet. And there it sits. Now it's in a weather controlled environment in the house. It's not going to get foggy or fungusy. It's not gonna, you're not gonna, dry up all the lubrication and everything. It's in a controlled environment, which is good. But it just sits there, and the decades go past and go past and go past. I found a roll of film was in my F3, and I took it to the drugstore and sent it off to have it printed, and it came back, and I had had the film in the camera for more than 10 years, and every year or two I'd take it out and take a couple pictures, and it's like, wow, look at that, wow, look at that, hey, I remember that. And the camera just is your time machine, faithfully waiting for you to finish the roll of film whenever you get around to it, and then have it processed and take a look at those pictures from another phase of your life. So, like many people, I put my camera stuff away, and then later in life, the kids are all grown up and you're living on your own and you got your own things that you're doing, and you retire, you start having discretionary time and discretionary income, and something will happen and it'll bring it back to you. I happened to stop at a pawn shop because I saw a motorcycle out in front that I wanted to know about. And I went inside, and there was an Olympus OM1 and in the display case. And so I said, well, let me see it. And I said, oh, do I remember anything about these things? And I took the parts apart and put them back together and tried everything out. The camera body wasn't working. The winder wouldn't work. It was stuck. And I thought, you know what? I bet this is pretty easy to fix. And so I bought the bag with the lenses, with the camera, and it was $60. And I brought it home. Like, nice little hard shell case, kind of could be useful for things. And I thought, I bet I can do this. And so I looked up the film winder doesn't work on an OM1, and I found a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 videos on how to make it work and how to fix it. And I got the correct little tiny screwdriver, like this, at Lowe's. And with a good quality screwdriver, I could take the bottom off the camera and line everything back up, get the stuff to fix, to go together like it was supposed to, put the top on, or put the bottom cover, floor cover back on, tighten the screws, click, whoosh. It's worked ever since. Just needed a little attention, and then it was fixed. So I thought, oh, this isn't that hard. This can be easy, these old cameras here. And I cleared off my dresser, wiped all the dust off of it and everything, and I took my Nikons out, and I took my Olympus out, and I got another Olympus, I got another Nikon, and I just had a whole row of these cool cameras lined up on my dresser looking at me. And every morning I'd wake up and I'd look at the camera and that is so awesome. I am such a fortunate guy to have all these cool cameras. I had 5 or 6 of them. And it's like every morning I get up and look at them. And then pretty soon as every morning I get up and I would dust them because they had dust all over them. And the next morning I'd get up and it was all dusty again. And especially black cameras, they are magnets for dust. And so I would clean them off, and very quickly I came to the realization that I really need to do something better than this. This is not working. I don't want to get these cameras filled with dust and ruined, and I need to put them somewhere where they're safe, but I want to still enjoy them every day. And I was going to thrift stores and things like that from time to time. And Donna would have to go to a doctor, and right next door to her was this big thrift store. So I would hang out there And then one day I noticed that they had a curio cabinet, display cabinet, whatever you want, a trophy cabinet, anything you want to call it like that, something you can put in your home. And I thought, that's what I need. I should get that curio cabinet. So I went back the next day and it was gone. So, but we still had doctor's appointments and I would be by there, and another time I go by, once I went in there and there was a curio cabinet, and I thought, well, this looks pretty good, and I started looking it over and checking it out, and it was in the back, it had like where the particle board goes into this dovetail, and that holds it together, and it had popped out. So I was bending over the thing and I was popping the back into the dovetail slots that are supposed to be. And some lady walked up to me and she says, are you finished fixing my cabinet now? Would you like to help me carry it out to my truck? And then the ladies showed up with their hand truck, and they loaded it up and took it out. So they have to do it themselves. Customers can't do it for them. But while I was just looking at it, trying to get it all fixed up, somebody bought it right out from under me. So what happened was the next time I went into the thrift store, because Donna had a doctor's appointment, they had one. So I bought it immediately. I had come on my motorcycle. I bought it, said, all right, now hold on to it and don't sell it to anybody else. And they put it aside for me, and I took my motorcycle home, came back with my truck and my hand truck, and I loaded up everything and brought it home and put it up. And that way I can have all my cameras out so I can view them, and all those cameras don't ever get dusty. I mean, they might pick up a little flake of dust here and there, but basically I keep it closed most of the time, so there's not any dust floating around in there. And I haven't had a dirty camera since. I shine them up and clean them up, and they look good. So on the previous video that I had done about this, about my camera collecting, it was starting out. I had 5 or 6 cameras in this thing, and it looked really empty. So I found any flash units that I had and put those in there, any lens caps or filters or motor drives, auto winders, straps, any. I put this is great, a GoPro, a couple of video cameras, some digital still cameras, little point and shoot things. I had anything I could find put in there, and it still had lots of room. But what happens when you get a display cabinet like this and it has lots of room is that real quickly all that room will just get sucked up, and it will get filled real fast. Now I better open this one so you can see it better instead of looking through the glass. The glass is good for keeping the dust away, but to see it, you really gotta open it up and take a look. And I'm going to take you on a tour of this. Here's the top shelf, third shelf, second shelf, first shelf. These are about 14 or 15 inches apart, and the camera leaves a lot of headroom. So one of the things that I picked up on pretty quickly is right around the corner from my house is the Dollar Tree, and I started picking up these little wooden boxes that they sell there. They used to be for $1, now they're $1.25 because it's $1.25 tree instead of Dollar Tree. You all know that. So much for inflation. But little by little, I would add one of these boxes, and I could put a camera in the box, and I could put another camera on top of the box. Or I could jack the box up, put a camera in here, and another camera on top of it. But those boxes help you use up all of the space here instead of just this much of it. If you just put them across the floor. If you do that, you can fit about 12 cameras in there, maybe. Well, maybe 13 or 14 would start to get a little crowded. Now, I started out with all kinds of photographic stuff in here, and I've gotten now to the point where I have a couple of extra lenses, and that's it. Basically, this is just cameras. So I went from 5 or 6 cameras over the course of a year to now 20 cameras. And when I reached 20 and I filled up all these shelves, that's when I thought, I need to make this video for everybody, because you know, the kids grow up and the kids go off and do their own things, and your subjects are gone, and now you have the photographic gear, but you don't have anything to take pictures of. And you know, you can go out in the garden and out in the yard, and you can take pictures of lizards, or you can take pictures of your motorcycles or pictures of your car and stuff like that, and you can be insufferable to everybody that you know. Hey, look at my pictures. Look, I'm going to bring my pictures out. No, not more pictures. Don't do that. No, we've seen enough. Okay. So, I'll tell you what. Let me take you on the tour. You kind of go from being the photographer taking pictures to the film fan, the camera fan, and eventually the camera collector, because you got these cool cameras and you put money into them, and this is like one of your dreams come true, and you don't have anything to take a picture of. So what do? Well, you start collecting the cameras, and that's what I've done here. I've just found what I was interested in and got it, and that's it. Here. Alright, this is an OM1N. The top row is Olympus. This is just recent, an OM2 spot program with a winder 2 under it. And then this is the OM2N with the winder 1 on it and the grip strap. I did 2 videos on that grip strap. That's something really cool. And this is the original OM1, not N, that started my current Olympus collection. Alright, and down underneath it in the box there that's the oddball here. That's the XA, and the flash unit that goes to it. It's hiding in the box down there. That's the 21st camera. Then I have a 35 to 70 Olympus, and this is one of my jewels here. I recently got this one, the OM4 titanium with a 35 millimeter f3.5. Is that it? Yeah, 35 f3.5. That with a silver nose. And then I got a couple more, 28 and a 35 millimeter f2.8, and there it is, the T20 flash unit, and then some lens caps. Then down here in the next row, this is the Nikon FA. This is all the Nikon stuff here. The venerable, I always have to say venerable because you never use that word. The venerable Nikon F2A on the Motor Drive 3 and the MB2 motor battery pack. Next to that is the F3, which you see is a little bit shorter motor drive. Yeah, and this has my f1.4 lens on it. All 8 of my Nikons have 50 millimeters on it, and then I have 8 more non-50 millimeter Nikon lenses. This is the Nikon FE on an MD11. Below it I have the FM2, which is not N, just FM2, and there's a 35 to 70 zoom. They seem to be popping up all over the place. And this is a Nicomat, it doesn't have the R in it, EL, which became the Nikon EL2 when they gave up the Nikon badge, Nicomat, and they went to the E series for their budget model cameras. And this is the Nikon EM. doesn't get a whole lot of love, but it's not that bad of a camera. And then also part of that same line is the Nikon FG. Is it? I went back. All right, here it is. Here's the Nikon FG, which is catty-cornered from the EM. It's a similar camera. And that's the 8 Nikons. Now, let's back up a little bit. Let's go down to the third row. This was the miscellaneous row, and it's kind of been refining recently. But it's the mixed bag of the remainers, the other 3 of the big 5 camera makers. This is a really cool camera. Before I got that OM4, this was probably my favorite. This is the XD11, and next to the XD11 is the Canon A1, and this is fitted with the motor drive one that would go with this exclusive motor drive that went only on the A1 and then later on the AE1 program, although it would only go at low speed. Here's another A1, and there you go. See close up. You can see this one is on the Power Winder one. So I have one A1 on motor drive, one on Power Winder. The one on the Power Winder is for sale, by the way. I do sell some of these cameras, although most of them I try to keep from selling. I try to hold on to them. Now this one arrived pretty recent. No, this just arrived like 2 days ago. I just got those last couple of cameras in. Another one you're going to see. But this is the Canon new F1 mounted on the AE motor drive, Canon motor drive for the new F1. And this motor drive is the trickiest to install motor drive that I have ever seen. And I just did a video on how to install the motor drive on the new F1. And I did that because no one has one on YouTube. Nobody has done a YouTube video on how to put that on there. So I now have, so if you ever want to know how to put the motor drive on an F1, you need help, look for my video. It'll help you with that. I have 30, I think this is number 32 or 33 photography video on my channel now. Now this is a Minolta X700. We went from old Minoltas to new Minoltas. Oh, look at this. I get a lot of lens caps in and out of here too, like official 35mm camera, the '84 Olympic Games. Look at that. Or the old style Minolta small lowercase name, like you would see on an XE-1. This is the world version. The US version was the XE-7, but the -1 was for Japan and the rest of the world. And I happened to come across one of these, and this has the MC Rocore 50mm f1.4 lens on it. And then finally we have the Pentax. There's the number 5 company, Minolta Canon Pentax. The Pentax MX, which was an early Pro camera and Pro camera series, that system that Pentax came out with. This is my only Pentax, and it's really been a nice camera. It's all mechanical and very reliable, and I got it at a really reasonable price. But then the prices started going out of this world. All of a sudden, people discovered it, and now you can hardly find one. So I'm glad I got one. And I mentioned that this A1 on the Auto Winder is for sale. When it sells, it's going to leave a spot here, and I think that spot is going to be filled with this one. But that spot will be filled with the Pentax LX to go along with the MX. I'm going to have one more because I got 3 Canons and 3 Minoltas and just 1 Canon. So kind of balance it out with another Pentax, so it's not just 1 Pentax. And down here on the ground floor, well, you can kind of see me reflected here. These are lenses. And I'll give you a hint. If you look closely, you'll realize that you can see me over there. That's because I'm reflected in the mirror on the back wall. There's only 2 rows of camera lenses here, but it looks like 4 because each row is reflected in the mirror, so it looks like it's 4 deep when it's really only 2 deep. But still, it's a lot of lenses. There's a bunch of Canon and Nikon lenses in here, some Tamron lenses, and there's a Vivitar and more Tamrons. The Tamron lenses are all Adaptol 2s, so they go on anything here in the camera cabinet other than the Pentax, because I never got an Adaptol 2 adapter for them. Down here in the basement, I keep cases, flash units, straps, a bunch of, there's rolls of film, and there's some Adaptol 2 adapters back there, and some in the plastic too. So this is the camera display the way it's supposed to be, and this is the video to tell everybody out there that this is just about done. It has reached perfection, and I'm just going to go from here. So I think, other than that LX someday, that this camera's display is permanently finished. All right, so thank you for watching. This is Mr. Gibson Guy, and I will see you on the next one. Out.